How you guys doing? This is my pilot review for a BBC One and also a Netflix limited series called Collateral. Right, so context for watching this, I'm fascinated by the detective genre, by noirs, all that type of stuff. And there are certain things, this was just on my Netflix list for a very long time, so I wanted to watch it. I've been meaning to. And also, I just want to watch more UK stuff. All the respect to like American and other pieces of other regional, other places. That's it. My thoughts on this episode. I really liked it. 3 big likes. Tone, the camera work, and the acting. I'll go bit by bit, and then maybe I'll speak a little bit on dislikes. I've been thinking about it. I'm not sure I have too many dislikes, to be honest, based on this first episode. But I'll get into it. The tone, here's what I liked about the tone. It didn't feel, especially for this type of genre, you usually expect something that has a certain air of depression to it, or depressing vibes to it. But for me, compared to watching certain other dramas, police dramas, detective shows, it didn't actually feel that. It just felt more procedural, like this is more matter of fact. And I felt that through the tone. You start the show, something terrible happens, like any detective show. Someone is sent to investigate, and this person's team. And I caught myself thinking, this just feels like a regular night for someone of the main characters who's a police detective. It felt like a regular night for her. And it felt like they were deliberately holding back from being, on the one hand, too over the top with it. Like I guess the best pop culture example would be like a Sherlock Holmes, even a Batman, because technically he's seen as another iconic detective, right? It didn't feel like too over the top in that sense of this world is like dreary and cold and dark metaphorically, but also literally. But on the other hand, it didn't feel like it was trying to be. It was trying to be too. I've noticed something in police shows. Obviously, there's a real world reality to the way many people perceive the police, in a positive way or in a negative way, and police shows you can tell struggle, even when they're well written, to seem like they have a good in between. This show, it feels like it's trying to go for that. And that's why I feel personally like watching it, it didn't take away from my personal, any personal kind of thoughts I have on something like this happening, on this kind of work. For context, guys, obviously in the UK, people perceive the police a bit differently to a place like the States, but also for many people, the people perceive them in a very similar way. I'm not here to argue for anyone but myself. I don't have strongly negative experiences with the police, or even remotely any negative experience with the police. But I also at the same time came from a community. I don't just mean because of my race. I came from a background in the community that obviously didn't see them in the best way either. But then at the same time, yeah, I'm just someone who, I'm just like this show. I try to look at my own biases and think about whether I'm looking at something as nuanced as possible. And there were little things, the police officer being empathetic to certain people around a certain victim of a crime, talking to witnesses. It didn't seem like, oi, you, this stern and through the dialogue, but it didn't seem too positive and like fairy dust either. And I like that. It's just straight down the middle for me. And that's the tone and the vibe I got from this world through this episode. That procedural, but not fairy dust. That's why I like the tone. Secondly, the camera work, right? The camera work stuck out to me because I noticed it, but again, it felt very fluid. It was like two things joined up into one. I don't know who directed this episode. I wish I looked up on IMDb, but whoever they are, big up to you because you did a good job. There was a lot of tracking shots I noticed in this episode, and then a lot of shots where they would follow people but stay in a certain position. So people would be talking. I don't know what it's called. I think it's like bird's eye view shot. Is that the right word? Yeah. People be talking by a crime scene, and then there'll just be like a certain corner, and then they'll film them at a certain angle where either the camera is like staying on them and they're talking, or like I said, with the tracking shot, they'll be following people throughout a scene. And I noticed two scenes in particular where I really liked this. There's this crime scene, like a forensic scene, where something happens to someone. I don't want to get into it because I want you guys to watch it. No spoilers. The main character, police officer, arrives on the scene with someone she works with as well, and starts to talk step by step. What do we know about the situation? What have we gathered so far from evidence? Any witnesses? Talk to some witnesses. Any people who would have known any history behind the person affected by this certain crime. It made me feel like I was invested in the show, but it didn't feel like it was too much, like it was overstimulation for me. To compare to, again, something that is more melodramatic, like I'm trying to, my mind goes to like superhero stuff, fantasy stuff, but I don't even mean that. I just mean Hollywood movie, blockbuster movie stuff, body cop movies, where everything just seems like dun dun dun, he did it, dun dun. You know, do you see what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of when stories just relax and just let people do the talking, let the situation speak for itself, as opposed to trying to force us to see it a certain way. And I felt like they were doing that, but at the same time they want you to focus on certain things. That's how I thought of this mystery in this episode, through certain shots, literally following certain people who you suspected, but then I thought to myself, oh, are they just trying to make me think that that's the person I should watch? Because it would seem too obvious. And I caught myself like, oh no, I did it again. I always suspect the obvious person in a mystery. I'm talking as a fan of detective genres, mysteries, so on. That was really effective for me. I liked that. And then lastly, I'll say the acting. So the main character is played by a lady, an actress called an actor called Carey Mulligan. I know her from Doctor Who, my favorite episode ever of Doctor Who, called Blink. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, the one where it introduces the Weeping Angels. I don't know if they've been in Doctor Who before, but that's the first time I saw them. I really liked that episode. And also, she was in Drive, the 2011 movie, I believe, or 2012, with Ryan Gosling or Oscar Isaac. She plays the neighbor in his building, in Ryan Gosling's building, the driver. I like her as an actress, so obviously I'm a little biased, but I haven't seen her in too many things apart from the two things I mentioned. I know of her, more than I've seen her work. Watching this, I felt like what they played to the strength of is that she seems soft spoken, but obviously she's in a position where, as a detective, as a police officer, she has to be a certain amount of sternness to her. So I felt like they played to that strength. I don't know if it's just like a general female thing, or if it's her as an actor putting in that work. I think it's a mix of both. But I felt like she recognized that her position, her job, was both about, it's like you need to have a head and a heart. She recognized that through certain scenes where she would talk to a witness, but also when she was about the business and about the job. She really seemed like she was doing both effortlessly, for me personally. The only thing where I'm not sure is I can't tell by comparison with her partners if they're trying to do the same thing. They're trying to make that nuance, because I feel that there's another character around her who seems to a fault like he's just about the business. And I only worry about that because I've seen in shows where you big up one character at the expense of other characters around them. And I would prefer if everyone had shades of grey, right? As opposed to just her having the empathy and the business strict mentality. But other than that, not other than that, there were certain other actors that I liked. There's a politician character who I thought was good because I've seen him in roles where he plays. Again, another character I've seen in Doctor Who, John Sim, who I've seen him play bad characters. So in this one, he just played. I mean, it's up to you if a politician is a inherently bad character. He seemed alright to me. There was something about him, something about everyone in this episode. I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know if it's just for the sake of a mystery, but they're trying to make you believe that everyone seems good-natured, but there's also something slightly off about them. But it didn't seem over the top with it. Like I was trying to poke that into you. It just let your mind wander there. Because, oh wait, you are a politician, but you don't know about this and this and this. Oh, you are a so-and-so, but you don't know about this and this and this. I liked the, I don't want to say, goodness, the priest character in this episode. I liked the lady in the, how can I say this? The lady in the flat with her children, that character, the actress who plays her. There was a various acting in this episode. There were no small parts, in my opinion. Everyone felt like they were an integral part of this mystery, however it will be solved. And that's my wrap up. Final thoughts. Quite frankly, I'm looking forward to the next episode. I want to watch it. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I definitely recommend watching this pilot episode for everyone watching this review. And you let me know your thoughts down below. Would you watch it based on my recommendation, or are you just curious? Share this video as well. Press that thumbs up button. Help spread to more lovely people like yourself. Other than that, subscribe for more. Signing off. Salute.